What up? What up? What up? It's Reckley Podcast, man. This is episode number 78. I ain't ever think that I'd be doing this shit that long, but every time I put out a new episode, man, it's dope to me. We hit milestones. Like episode 80 is like a month away. On this episode, me, Eric Signan, check out his podcast, Signan Cinema Podcast. Nick Goodman, trying to talk him into doing one. I made a mention of it. It's not really been a hard push for him to do it, but hopefully one day, maybe. Squad. We talk about the new Scream. We react spoiler heavy to the new Scream, and that's y'all warning. I'll give y'all another warning before we actually get into the conversation, and then I drop a huge spoiler as soon as I say that. So if you haven't seen the new Scream yet, this episode is not for you. Yeah, we react once again, spoiler heavy to the new Scream movie, and then we talk about the first four in the franchise, and it's a fun conversation, man. It's how we do. Again, man, 78 episodes. I appreciate y'all listening. I appreciate y'all watching. YouTube, what up? Yeah, like drop some reactions, man. Whether you on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Anchor, kick us some ratings, kick us some reviews, man. It's appreciated. It gets more eyes and ears on the show. What's up on some ratings on Spotify? That would be super. What's up? Let me get into this calendar right quick over the last 2 weeks. Theatrically, over the last 2 weeks, the 355 has come out. My review is on my page. Like I said, Scream has come out. My review is on my page. Hotel Transylvania, Transformania, The Tender Bar, streaming on Amazon. Reviews on my page. The Tragedy of Macbeth is out on Apple TV Plus. Denzel Francis McDormand, directed by one of the Coen brothers. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. Upcoming in between the next couple shows, we got the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild. Technically Ice Age, 6? Coming out on Disney Plus this weekend. I think that's the only big new release this weekend. Nothing theatrically, because Morbius got moved. And then the weekend of the next episode, Moonfall from Roland Emmerich is coming out. Patrick Wilson, Halle Berry starring in that. And then Jackass Forever. I've never seen one Jackass movie. I've seen bits and pieces of the second one. By the next time this show comes out, I'm going to try to have seen all 5 Jackass movies. Moving that shit on. Blu-ray and DVD. Let me see it. We looking at January 11th, and it looked like Dune 2021. Denis Villeneuve came out. Halloween Kills. Juice got a 4K with Omar Epps and Tupac. Spencer, starring Kristen Stewart, with some awards buzz, came out on physical. This past Tuesday, Candyman Day of the Dead got a Blu-ray. Last Night in Soho, The Addams Family 2, Shout Factory put out Liar Liar. It's not weird at all. Upcoming this Tuesday is kinda light, like the Bad News Bears remake is really all that's coming out. Well, Chippendale Rescue Rangers from my childhood look like it's getting a Blu-ray, so that's interesting. Paramount just dumping their catalog on physical, man. I love it. The Nickelodeon movie Barnyard, Clock Stoppers, Dreamer with Kurt Russell and who looks like Dakota Fanning. The obscure like secondary studio Arrow is putting out Mallrats. A lot of re-releases. I don't understand why studios like need to like re-release stuff. Just release stuff. Just put stuff out. You feel what I'm saying? I'm rambling. The first Tuesday in February, February 1st, Ghostbusters Afterlife comes out. It looks like Wayne's World is getting a steelbook. Looks like there's a combo pack Blu-ray coming out. Clifford the Big Red Dog. Of course, there's a Ghostbusters combo pack. And it's looking like it's looking like that's it for upcoming physical media until the next episode. So I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna hit y'all with the Scream conversation. It's Rec League Podcast, baby. What's up, kids? This is a Scream episode, but it's been some passings that I didn't touch on last episode. So Sidney Poitier, Bob Saget, Betty White. Let's pay respects. Eric?
Oh boy. Now I was saying, I think one of y'all posted the scene, Bob Saget. Yeah, all of us, our generations, I know I'm a little bit older than y'all. I remember TGI Friday when they had that super lineup. And it was just unstoppable. What was it? Full House. It was a Step by Step. Family Matters, and it was just
Boy Meets World.
Was it? It was.
I don't remember.
But they had in the '80s. Y'all remember Perfect Strangers? That was before.
Vaguely.
Yeah. But anyway, now everybody remember Bob Saget from either America's Funniest Videos or Full House, but I don't know if any of you ever saw any of his stand-ups. It was like total. He's like a whole different person. He worked what they call blue, like, which is very controversial, very dirty, and we got a glimpse of that in Half Baked, his random cameo.
That shit is so great.
It is excellent, and yeah, it's messed up. I don't know if they even released the cause of death. It sucks. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. He's gone, which sucks. And yeah, and of course Betty White. Man, what can you say? We could dedicate 2 episodes to her,
right?
And even to all of them, actually. But yeah, and People Magazine. Look at Nick. He already know what I'm about to say. Just wait.
Just like you're walking the anyway. It's like may as well wait.
I don't know if y'all believe in that, y'all jinx, and y'all had all the magazines, Betty's 100. I'm like, man, y'all just couldn't.
Oh.
And they were released on the newsstands, right?
I think people got them, yeah.
Yeah, 100 birthday celebration. But I'm like, man, y'all. Yeah, the knuckleheads in marketing with that, jinx. But yeah, and Sidney Poitier,
birthday twin.
Oh, really?
February 20th.
Man, that's crazy. So yeah, he and Betty, they had birthdays
right before their birthdays.
Yeah, that sucks. And Sidney Poitier was important for like numerous reasons. He was the first Black actor to be nominated, and then his next nomination, he would be the first Black actor to win the Academy Award, the Oscar. And he inspired a lot of people. Denzel picked up his. It was a great night. So that same night, Sidney Poitier got a Special Achievement Oscar. Then Denzel won his first Oscar for Best Actor, or Best Lead, and he gave his props to Sidney Poitier. That was a great moment. Said, "I've been chasing you for 30 years, and what they do, they give you another one on the same night." That was a great joke. But yeah, it's R.I.P. to all of them. It sucks to open up the year like that.
Yeah. Nick, hold back the tears.
Yeah, it's just especially like Bob Saget. It almost feels like it's just. I feel like everybody's taking it harder because it was so unexpected. Not that it was expected, obviously, that like Betty White or anything was going to happen, but it's just like, I don't know. It just feels like malicious. It's like, what the hell? Like, I usually hate when people are like, great, 2022 is off to a great start. Like, I usually like when they do it, but it was really like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't know.
Well, on to 2023.
Yeah, but yeah, Bob Saget's stand-up is really funny. Like, pretty much anytime he does like a cameo in a movie, like Dumb and Dumber, is another thing where he's just yelling about shit on the walls.
There's shit everywhere.
Yeah, that's his whole thing. But he's really like every single person in the entertainment industry is just taking Bob Saget's like really hard, because I guess he was really just like nicest, most supportive guy, which is good to hear.
Yeah,
I didn't like it, but I've always heard that. I've always heard he's, super nice, and it sucks. And then same with, all of it. It's just bad. Like Sidney Poitier,
legend.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like, I'm hoping some of these like movie kids will actually pay attention and like watch some of the stuff, because like his movie, they aren't just like, it's not just like, wow, this movie broke ground. Like In the Heat of the Night is like a legitimately like, that movie has like an unmatched energy for that kind of movie. Like you watch it now and it's like, you can't even describe it. It's like the tension in that movie is so different than like compare it to like Training Day or something like that. Like you compare it to another movie. Yeah. The tension is just so different because of the time period and what it's about and how they do it. So I'm like, I'm listening, like I'm begging, go watch like Woody movies. Because I know like some of these people just don't, they're afraid to watch something like past like the 70s. Like, I don't know. That's when most of his like great stuff came out. It's like the 50s and 60s. Then he like took a break. Then he came back and did a few things. He did a movie called Shoot to Kill.
Oh, Tom Berenger.
Tom Berenger.
Yeah.
And what's his name? The warden from
okay.
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown, yes. Oh man. Yeah.
It's a really good movie. It's like super underrated. I feel like nobody's ever seen it. So like go back, watch some Poitier, watch some Betty White, watch The Golden Girls. It's still funny.
I just spent 2 months watching Clancy Brown.
Wow,
yeah.
Yeah, like people make fun of the Golden Girls for like it's like demographic or it's like target audience or whatever. But yeah, like I'll catch a couple clips here and there. It's funny.
Dude, it's funny, but like it again, like you use it. It's like it was groundbreaking. It opened doors, but like it really did. Like it was not what sitcoms were about when it came on in the 80s. It wasn't like about old women. Old women were on like soap operas being old. Like this was modern, up to date, and it.
Mama's Family is offended.
Even shows like Sex and the City, like they weren't old women, but like they didn't have shows like that.
They are now.
Girls. It was like, oh, this is fun. Like this is super relatable to an entire like demographic of human beings. So we could make more shows like. There's also a spinoff called The Golden Palace that I think is on Hulu now that everyone forgets existed. It was like a 1-season spinoff about them.
Yeah.
I forget. They like moved somewhere.
That was like the first regular gig Don Cheadle had.
They all four moved and they started a new show together.
B. Arthur was on it. I think they like moved, like they tried to open a hotel or something. I don't remember. I do remember that it existed.
Well, shout out How I Met Your Mother, because Bob Saget's narration of that entire show just makes it feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
Until Barney comes in. Bang, bang, bangity bang. I'm gonna get off on a tangent. Yeah, man. I want to talk. I don't want to just talk Scream 22. I want to talk the entire 5-movie franchise. Ooh. And this, look. If you watching, if you listening, and you haven't seen the new Scream, fuck off. Go see the movie, then come back and listen, because there will be spoilers throughout.
Okay.
No holding back anything.
According to the box office, most of our audience should have seen it.
Facts.
Yeah.
And in the Instagram thread, I said either Kyle Gallner or Jack Quaid give me half my props. I'm starting with a spoiler. Give me half my props.
Start with the biggest spoiler.
The biggest.
Anybody who was like, I'll listen a couple more minutes.
You were warned. You were warned. You were warned. I don't give a fuck. You were warned. Eric, man, I don't think you reacted in the thread, so start us off.
I read it though.
Start us off.
Jack Quaid, that dude is. I don't know what it is. This obsession I have with age.
He shared a scene with you. He shared a scene with a young Meg Ryan.
I didn't know he was as young as he was. He's a very mature looking fellow. You know what I mean? He's not old looking, but he looks older than 29.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You know,
I was gonna say he fit the mid to early 20s that I'm assuming his character was.
Yeah, I mean it's the way he plays it. But no, you asking me about the reveal, give you half of your props.
I'm asking about the whole movie.
But yeah, start with that. I liked how they played it. To a degree. As far as there's a scene in the movie where they sit down with Dewey, and and it's a callback to it. They mentioned it later in the movie. He was right. He hit it right on the head with the boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I think that was
no random fanboy is that good an actor. I'm calling bullshit on the whole movie. No, I'm just I'm thinking I'm gonna sound like a hater. In the first attack, in the what's her name, Jenna Ortega, in the first attack, he came from this other town to FaceTime with the other killer on the phone.
Yeah.
To show the victim. So how's he at the friend's crib unless they're next door neighbors? And because if she's like being stalked, she can't be, playing the other part of the attack.
Yeah. I thought about that. Yeah.
I'm trying to go see it again, knowing everything, so I can look because I started thinking about that too. Like they're on their way to the party at the end. The party's like out of town because they're leaving, and they pass the sign that says "You're leaving," and she's like, "Oh, her house is on the way." And he's like, "Fuck, okay, fine, fuck," and like they go, and it's like the girl is running the party. I'm like, you're telling me she's running upstairs, downstairs, and going inside and outside, like while she's like doing the party. It's like Stu in the first one was throwing the party, but Billy wasn't there, so anything that was during the party could have been Billy. I buy that.
Yeah.
But like this, it was like he's in the car driving. Like he cannot be there doing things. She was just at the hospital. So that's what I'm trying to remember. I'm like, what was the time jump between the hospital night? Was it like the next morning that they left? Like I'm trying to go watch it again. I was like, all right, because she is at home. You're telling me she's not at home at all? Like her parents aren't wondering where she is for an entire night? Like my head starts spinning. Like I'm supposed to be watching a movie.
And they kept bringing up like Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega's mom. She's in London at a conference, but I was like, oh, they're setting this up. The mom's gonna be involved, and then nothing.
Yeah. I didn't hate it. Like I didn't.
No.
It was good because like I don't like it was. It's almost like I don't know if I was hoping for something else. Because I don't know what. Like it had to have been one of them. Like I was saying, like it's not like Stu go up and be the killer.
Yeah.
But then I was like, Stu shows up and is the
killer.
Like I'd start.
Yeah, I thought that too. It was all types of crazy. I was even thinking at one point that if they had to do it, I was thinking Sydney.
What if they came back around and fixed what they wanted to do in Scream 3 originally, and then Stu ended up being involved with with Billy hovering over the whole movie? That would have been crazy.
I don't know if I would have even liked it, but I was still, I was like thinking, I was like, what if? And then it was just like two people, like it always is. Like it was good, like it worked, but I was just like, oh, so it was just two people. It was just like two people she knew.
It
like
was two random stab fans, and the other killer, what's her name? Mikey Madison. overacting to a cartoony degree.
But like, it was fun. Like I was watching, I was like, this is wacky, but it's not like, I don't know, it's not like Matthew Lillard wacky where I was like, this is art.
Matthew Lillard was cutting the fuck up. Endless quotables, just laying it on, chewing the scenery.
A lot of ad-lib and in his role, Kevin Williamson even said. But I guess what's her name? Mickey Madison.
Yeah.
Is it in her contract now? She has to get burnt to a crisp in every movie.
Damn. What else did she get burnt?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, that was her. I was trying to think. I was like, I've seen that girl.
Yeah,
that was her.
That's right. Burnt that bitch to a crisp. That's a quote from the movie. Don't get offended, y'all.
I guess I don't remember.
That script, like, really, two movie.
Yeah, it's like when like in the third act, and they like topple over that rail, and then Jack Quaid's going for the gun. Like that reveal landed. That shit was money. I was kind of shocked.
I liked her reveal. I thought because like they were sitting there arguing. It was like Scooby Doo. Like they were like arguing.
Yeah, that was.
And then she just shot there. I thought that was cool because I was like, I love this. I love that they're all like pointing at each other because that's not ever really been a thing. Like in Scream 4, they were on the house. They weren't like pointing at one another. Like they weren't even suspecting each other. And so I was like, ooh, this is cool. They're all suspecting each other, and it's obviously the girlfriend, which means it's not the girlfriend, and it's obviously her 'cause she knows so much about movies, but it's not her then.
When in the scene when they all get together in Randy's sister's house, is she there?
Yeah. Wait. They're both there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I knew Jack Quaid was there obviously because when they blame Melissa Barrera, you're the most likely killer, and she just storms off. He chases her. Yeah,
they're all there. I like that scene.
Yeah,
that was like a scene for the movie lovers. Like she picked up the Blu-ray and all this stuff.
Yeah, I leaned over to my wife. I was like, they made a stab Blu-ray. That's so dope.
This is for the like.
Yeah.
People talk. I hate the term. Like, I'm sick of the term like love letter. Like this was a love letter to the film. But I was like, they really did this for like the movie geeks.
I think that scene was like the only acknowledgement they gave Scream 3. Because they like on like 2 or 3 occasions they say that Billy was the mastermind of everything, completely wiping their ass with the Scott Foley thing, which cool, whatever. But they say that Sydney's husband's name is Mark, and I'm gonna say that's Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah, Mark Kincaid.
That's what the assumption has been.
Yeah.
And
I guess were they date? Like they weren't even.
He was there at the end of the movie. They don't mention him in Scream 4.
They were like kind of flirty, I guess. Like I guess I buy it.
He's Sydney. Come watch the movie, and she just leaves the door open.
So I got a question for y'all. For the last 2 movies, well, I guess it's
3 and 4 or Scream and 4.
Oh, well, Scream 4 and 5.
Okay.
So the Meeks niece, her name was Mindy in the movie.
Is it Mindy?
Meeks Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one who was watching the movie, the expert. So she got like stabbed in the shoulder, and then she, what I believed, just fainted.
Yeah.
I guess.
And did she, it's not really confirmed. Did she die? Did she survive?
No, they show her on a stretcher.
Oh, they both lived.
I missed that. I glanced, I guess I missed.
Hey, when you related to a Randy, you survived, baby.
Her and her brother survived because he got stabbed a few times.
He got fucked up.
And speaking of that, what was his name in the movie? Was it Chad or something, right?
Sure.
Right. So that's a big, the actor, even though who's the character, that's a big bastard.
Yeah.
So it would have had to been old girl who was attacking him, right?
Yeah, because Jack Quaid was on the road.
Yeah, because they pulled up when the lights flashed on him. That was them pulling up, right?
It had to have been.
So she handled his ass. That was a big thing.
Hey. That was another thing with Dewey.
Yeah.
Dewey's final scene. Had to have been her. Could not have been Jack Quaid. And she walked in there like, oh, yeah. And like lifted him up and was like, fuck you. And I was like, what does she weigh? Like 110? Like, get at it. Come on.
Yeah.
And that was an awesome scene. I like how they played it, and
it was good.
Yeah.
I did.
The most emotional moment in Scream 2022. Prepare for it. I told you guys 10 minutes ago, if you haven't seen it, to fuck off and go see the movie. Dewey dies.
He does.
Yeah. And as soon as, like, me and my wife, like, everybody in the theater knew if he's going back, he's done.
Yeah, there was an audible reaction from my theater. Like, not so much
even as dramatic as they made it, him reloading the gun and
like you just kind of knew. The thing is that, like, it wasn't really unexpected.
Yeah.
Like, the trailer showed Gail
crying.
Like, what is she gonna scream that way over Sydney? Probably not.
Yeah.
Who else would it be? Like, do they have a child? Maybe, but probably not. Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah.
They could have done that. Whatever. But yeah, it sucked. It was like a good scene though. Like, it was like, oh yeah, you weren't, as many times as he's been stabbed, you weren't thinking like, oh, he'll survive this one. Like, they made it clear, like, no, he's done.
Yeah, there was a lot of references to how many times he's been stabbed throughout the movies.
Right. I was in my head like, okay, this many times in 1, a lot in 2, 9 times though.
Yeah, I thought that, because they never really, like, in Scream 3, they don't even talk about it. And, like, Scream 4, he doesn't even have, like, a limp. Like,
yeah, it's kind of there, but then not. But
the whole time.
Speaking of which, if we are gonna, if we wanted to grade the overall performances, man, David Arquette was tapping into something. I really liked.
I would go as far as to say this was his best performance as Dewey.
Yeah, that's
what I said.
Dude,
the first one
I love 1 and 2 so much.
So do I, but like the first one, he is Deputy Doofy from Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Like that's his like persona, and he fits it kind of.
Fuck no.
But this one, he had to be like.
Yeah, he had to be goofy. Like, what did Mom say? I'm wearing this badge. You treat me like a man.
Yeah, like he was young and inexperienced, man. He was 25 years old. Yeah.
It's part of the character, right?
I was 24 for hell yeah. Like, he's, like, that's great. But like, to be like, oh,
you are much prettier in person.
Like in the first one, to me, like the performers are Nev Campbell, Matthew Lillard, like Drew Barrymore. Like, they're the ones. Performances. And Dewey is like, he's Dewey. He's doing what he's best at. This one,
dude, he's like he's the OG, man. He's grizzled. He's alone. He like has his demons.
The thing is,
still pulls a decent sense of humor, like the scene we were talking about. When they're talking about the expert.
Like in like Scream 2 and 3, and even 4, it's like, like Gail shows up and he's like mad at her. Like, and then this one she shows up and he's mad at her, but he's like kind of serious. He's like, well, did somebody die? Gail comes running, and it's like not really like, it's like, all right, dude. Yeah. But like in this one, I was like, he's like sarcastic, like he's pissed, and like I fought it, like he, like, why? Give me a reason I would open the door. She's like, I'm Billy Lewis's daughter. That's a horrible reason for me to open the door.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, that was great, man. But he's the way like he shows up in Scream 2, and he's like more serious. So like I said in my review, 1 and 2 is like they all portray their characters a certain way. 3, 4, and this one, I feel like they're all different. David Arquette is outstanding in this one.
Right.
And him and Gail had that one scene. I don't even know if I like really like that.
No, I see that.
That's true. Only one scene.
If I'm making a list, like, because I was making a mental list, they could have made the movie longer.
They needed more.
Gail should have had more than one scene.
Yeah.
The first scene should have been like, well, look who it is.
And speaking of which, now since you mention it, he and Sydney don't have any scenes together. They just talk.
I was thinking to a friend, I said, they are Han, Luke, and Leia again. It's the same thing again. Luke doesn't get to see Han one more time. Han is the grizzled guy that comes in and meets the young people. Leia shows up, and she and Han have one scene together where they discuss their past, and then Han goes and dies.
Scream The Force Awakens.
It's the same thing.
What the fuck?
I totally came to that realization later, and I was like, he and Gale could have had another scene where they hashed out their shit. They could have worked together to do something. Like, they could have added a scene or two, but he basically left there and like went to the hospital. Then he died.
Right. But they do play into it, why Gail, obviously, she feels something, and she mentions that, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
Like, as much as they make fun of, like, the requel and all that, like, they stuck to the formula of the requel, like, to a T. I was like, it's Star Wars.
And since you mentioned that, I want to mention this, like I was saying, you just said Scream 3, 4, and 5, the characters are different, so to speak. So it's real jarring after the second movie. Yeah. Because the screenwriters change, and you can feel it.
Scream 3 is definitely not Kevin Williamson.
Yeah. Aaron Kruger, who's a good writer. He wrote a great movie, underrated movie called Arlington Road.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that. Why not? We'll talk about Scream. So do you all know that Kevin Williamson was sued by the Weinsteins?
Word.
I feel like I knew this. I feel like...
I didn't.
I should have just read the whole Wikipedia thing on the franchise.
And just bring it up a little bit.
Because he didn't have time to write Scream 3?
Yeah, he was contractually obligated to write it. And he tried to work with him so much. He wrote a 35-page outline of his Scream 3. And that's there's a video I sent y'all.
Yeah.
About what it was supposed to be. They wanted him to write it. He was busy with his TV shows, and I think he was doing, Teaching Mrs. Tingle around in?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he directed that also.
Yes.
Really?
And so he was busy. He told him he was busy. He's like, look, I have an outline. And yeah, they sued him, and he said, that hurt him for a lot of years. He said he only recently saw Scream 3. Just recently.
Oh, bro, that's a Zack Snyder situation. Don't ever watch that shit. I don't even hate Scream 3. I take that back. Scream 3 is the worst of the series, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it is. But now it's crazy though how, and the actors could try the best with their interpretation as their characters, but still that words coming out of the mouth and off the pages is what it is, and that's part of. Aaron Kruger, you can't blame him. I mean, he's to the degree, he's a screenwriter trying to take a job. But he changed a lot from Williamson's treatment and what it was supposed to be.
That video said he didn't get the characters.
Yeah. And he literally said that himself, that he was struggling with writing for the characters. And Craven helped him out as much as he could. But it's crazy how it goes. Yeah, the Weinsteins, they straight up pulled that muscle and sued him.
Well, karma came back around for their ass.
Yeah.
Bitches.
I hate the script about the Hollywood predator. I don't like this. And they're like, why, Harvey? You like it, Harvey?
Yeah, I guess that was a FU toward him, and the subconscious plays into it. Everybody knew what was going on in the industry, and they snuck that one in there real nice.
I look nothing like Lance Henriksen.
It's a completely different man altogether.
Yeah, but jumping back, the Scream 5. So is it Marley Shelton?
5 Cream.
Sheriff?
Yeah.
And,
yeah, the whole time, the first 20 minutes, I'm leaning to I'm talking through the whole movie, watching and distracting my wife and shit. I was like, oh shit, Dewey retired.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that she had a child during Scream 4. She never mentions that.
Ever.
Yeah, she would have had to have.
He would have had to have been
10.
6, 7, 8, however old he's supposed to be in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been. So it's funny. I don't know if you all put it together. So she, and I guess if you want to count Randy's sister, Heather,
Matarazzo.
So they are the only two sequel characters that return in another sequel.
Mm-hmm. It worked. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, interesting.
I was cool when his sister showed up. I was like, oh,
yeah.
And like, around me, it's like,
yeah.
Oh shit, cool.
I was nerding out a little bit. I thought
I was like,
obviously the Dewey kill, but I thought the Marley Shelton kill was like really good too because it was completely unexpected.
Yeah,
I loved like that. But what's his name? Dylan Minnette. Like his whole thing where they kept making fun of like open the fridge because they've made fun of that before. Parts of this movie, I think, would have worked better if 4 didn't exist. I like 4. I think 4 is good. I don't think it really hurt. Like, they acknowledged that 4 happened in this. Like, I don't know if it hurt it. Like, if 4 hadn't come out and we were 20 years separated from the last screen, I think this would have been a 4-star movie for me. I would have been like, wow, there's so much new stuff to cover. But a lot of the stuff they talk about in this, they talked about in 4. And so, like, the whole time, like, he's in there and he opens the fridge or whatever, they made that joke in Scream 4. Like, when they were doing the Sabaton, the guy was like, there's a harmless character behind the fridge. And I was like, oh, this is cool. It would have been great if Scream 4 like hadn't already acknowledged that movies do that.
That's true.
Like, every time he did something, he turned around, there was nothing there.
4 is kind of poking fun at the trend of remakes, and this one's kind of poking fun at the trend of naming the sequel reboot the same thing as the original.
Yeah, like I thought that was cool that they acknowledged it, but at the same time, it's like you're so meta. You want to be so meta all the time, but it's like you did it. You named the movie Scream. You didn't name it. So
yeah, you got to be. I imagine it's hard to try and do that and not become
like
thing that you're making fun of.
It's hard out here for a pimp.
That was like a little bit of the big criticism with part 3.
Yeah.
They were almost starting to become, a parody of what they were making fun of, and the characters going into.
Like I don't think it's even as a whole, like as a franchise, I don't think it's crossed that line 100% yet. Like I don't think it's jumped the shark.
No.
But like, it's just this one in particular, like the new one, so meta, so self-referential about everything. Like everybody's got. It was almost like, did y'all watch Malcolm and Marie?
No.
Yeah.
Where dude gives that long ass speech where he's just talking and saying all this stuff. It was almost like that. Like every time somebody would talk about movies, it was like, and then if you do this and do this, and then God forbid you do this and do this and do this. I'm like, you're so self-referential about everything. Eventually, you're just gonna trip. Like you're gonna the reveal is not going to land as hard as it should because it's like my expectations are through the roof now because you've referenced this and this and this. You've already accused him of being the killer more than once now. So it's him. Like it's like, oh well, okay.
Let me ask you how it is.
He was watching Netflix.
Go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry.
But it's like you looked her dead in the face in the basement where like maybe you're the killer. Like you did it like more than once. So her being the killer isn't as like
don't get that the impact.
Yeah. It's like you want to do the thing, but you don't do the thing. Like you want to.
I imagine that's got to be real hard to write for that.
Yeah.
They have to know that we're talking about this and going to talk about it. But an interesting aspect of the movie, I don't think we mentioned it exactly. The visions of Billy.
That looked nothing like him until like the very end.
Yeah, it was questionable before. I'm like, oh, they got a younger actor who looked like, and I mean, wait a minute, no, are they doing the CG thing?
Was that legit de-aging on Skeet Ulrich?
Yeah.
Horrible.
I mean, that was him. Yeah.
Horrible.
I would have just had him look,
I thought it was a cool detail.
No, I would have made him an old man ghost.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, it's granted, it's not Marvel Studio budget movie, and I would have just had him
Paramount. I guess should have been.
But yeah, the visions of that was interesting. It could have been real corny, but
yeah, I thought it worked. At least for what I was like, I didn't see it coming. Like I was like, because they don't even explain why it's happening the first time he shows up. He's like in the hospital or whatever, and I was like,
it was obvious it was Billy, but I was just like, okay.
Yeah, like, I was like, what the hell was that? And
can we?
Like, everyone in the theater really reacted hard to it, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Nobody else watched the old ones first.
And let's do an impromptu Hall of Fame for slasher movies, most disposable characters ever. If we had to do a top 5 Hall of Fame, I don't even know his name. The dude with the muscle car has to be one of the most disposable characters in the history.
And then one scene, one like actual scene of dialogue.
Right.
Yeah. Kyle Gallner was in this movie just to die.
Yeah. I'm like, man.
And what
they they even wrote it off. Like, I feel like they wrote him to get killed and then reread the script and were like, fuck. We forgot to make him related to somebody. And they were like, all right, I just Googled it. He's Stu's nephew.
What was the joke? I don't remember the joke that distracted me from hearing. Like, I heard Stu, and they were talking about victims, and
it was such a throwaway line. Yeah, I didn't hear that dialogue saying who he was.
It was like, do you ever watch Taking for Smoking?
Yeah.
I think about it all the time. They're sitting there, and he's like, "You can't smoke in space." He goes, "Oh, well, we'll just fix it. Like, thank God we have the whatever device."
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, I just Googled it."
But yeah, that's and a lot of interesting. First, the opening, well, not victim, the opening person that was attacked didn't die.
I was gonna bring that up. Shout out Jenna Ortega. Way to fight.
A lot. Like,
she she was a badass.
As another thing,
even when she was fucked up, she was still fighting.
I thought it was weird. Like, she was in the hospital after the beginning. I mean, she got pretty fucked up. She got stabbed like 7 times.
Right.
She's in the hospital. Her sister comes to visit her or whatever. Killer comes back to the hospital, and she gets out of the bed, and she's crawling around. She's bleeding. She's hurting herself. She's fucking up her leg more. And she's allowed to just leave the next day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They checked her out. They would have like, oh. Yeah. And speaking of the hospital, what fucking hospital in the history of hospitals, clinics, wherever the hell is that damn empty?
Yeah. It had to have been what, mate?
Was it a holiday?
Let's say 6 p.m. And the lights are out. The elevators work. And there's no staff.
Yeah, one security guard got fucked up.
Yeah.
But
one good security guard got taken out by the little girl. It was great. It was a very good scene. I'll give it that. Like, the whole like pick somebody. Like, I was into the scene. Like, I was like, ooh.
They're like, writing and they're filming and they're just like, the tension's gonna be so good. Nobody's paying attention to these details.
Yeah, they're right. For the most part.
We're the doctors. Like, they wouldn't be on call.
In multiple scenes, the tension was amazing.
Yeah, I will say, I might even say, like, at least since part 2, this one had the most, like, genuine, like, scares. Like the opening scene of, like, part 3, it's pretty good. But, like, it's not that scary. Like, it's like, well, Cotton's gonna die.
Yeah.
He's disposable. And, like, part 4 is so, again, it's so meta. Like, look what we did. Oh, my God, the fake opening. By the time you get to the real one, it's just like, they're dead.
So desensitized.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that. I'm glad Nick says this. I mentioned that about part 2 in my latest podcast episode. Look it up. Sigmund Cinema Podcast.
It's on Good Pod. Shameless plug.
No, I mentioned that about atmosphere. About, like, how in the daytime you can make something scary and suspenseful, like the sheriff scene and Scream 2 with the Randy scene.
Oh, no, we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
we don't talk about the death of Randy on this podcast. Yeah, we do.
But no, it is. It's hard to do genuine suspense and tension, especially in a slasher. You bring up good points about 4, and they make fun of it. Then, oh, that's right, we got to do it ourselves.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, all right, you made the joke, you made the reference, like, and it's good, but like now you have to live up to that.
Yeah.
More often than not, like it just kind of doesn't. I thought the opening to this one was really good.
Yeah.
Like in like being like, oh shit, this girl's gonna die. Like she's by herself, and it's like I buy that she's by herself.
For a second, they're having like this legit conversation, and I'm like, is this Roger Jackson?
And he's going in and out asking the questions, and that's real. That was awesome how they were doing that.
He was asking questions about Stab, which I thought was cool. I was like, oh, that's something they haven't really done in the franchise. Like, really acknowledge Stab as like a classic at this point. Because like before they did the Stabathon, but it was almost like a joke. Like they did it because they lived there. But in this one, it was like, who was the killer in the first Stab? And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun because it's come full circle. And I thought like the attack was like really brutal. Like a lot of Scream.
Yeah, when he stomped on her leg.
Slice and dice, stab, you're dead. This one, it was like in her hand and like, dude got it on his neck and all this stuff. And I was like, ew. But,
and the double, we mentioned earlier, the Dewey with the double knife.
Yeah, you got double.
And it's like,
yeah, she's not lifting him. Dewey weighs at least 220.
Yeah.
Finish him.
Yeah.
David Arquette is a legit wrestler.
Yeah.
He's in shape. But yeah. And that's not it for the audience people. As a 3-time certified personal trainer, nutritionist, men naturally have more muscle mass. Even if you're out of shape, and it's just certain things that smaller people. But it's a movie, and it's like I was asking a question about the Meeks nephew, big
athlete,
football player, and getting his ass treated like a rag doll.
Yeah.
But it's definitely the most gory.
5 movies. The killer is relatively the same height in all 5 movies.
No, yes.
I need like a height. I need the height of like all. What are we at now? 9 killers in this franchise.
Damn.
Shit.
Because Emily Mortimer definitely was never the killer.
No. Not what we got.
I like how they make, I guess, the boots. I don't know, they got lifts on them.
Yeah, there you go.
They got a point. Lillard and Skeet, they're Matthew Lillard tall and Skeet Ulrich, 6 foot
at least.
Timothy Oliphant, but then it's the thing. We going back to the women.
Yeah, Laurie Metcalf. Come on, 5'6".
Yeah, and who's what's his name from the third one?
Scott Foley. He's not tall.
Scott Foley. Probably like 5'8", but
yeah.
His scene doesn't even get like, he does his reveal or whatever, and he has his showdown with Sydney. No one else is even there. And so, like, she shoots him or whatever, and he's dying. And Gail runs in, she goes, "It was Roman?" Like, she just, like, yells it in the background. Like, oh,
yeah,
Roman.
she did.
It was like, we're having a death scene. That's 3 is so not on the same level as 1 and 2.
Nah.
I like 3. I don't
So
hate
we're going to agree. I know y'all watched it recently. That it was, the story behind part 3, and rewatching it, I looked at it, I glanced at it the other day. Like, yeah, they definitely were changing shit in the middle, and
Jenny McCarthy acknowledges all the rewrites.
Yeah, that was just it's just so obvious.
I hate that I'm 35 playing a 28-year-old or whatever.
But yeah, that's.
Yeah, like,
I don't know, what can you say?
like I told y'all, and y'all ganged up on me. Having the long lost brother was a cool thing. The execution wasn't.
Yeah, it's all about on paper. It probably looked awesome.
Yeah.
But I spoke on that same thread. Like, man, to hold on to all that anger. Let me sign up financial aid, film school. I'm gonna get you.
It's all a part of the plan.
7 years later.
Oh yeah.
Like, hey, I'm your brother. Like, y'all would have gotten along.
No, like, oh man, oh you're killing me, because he says in the movie 4 years ago I knocked on her door, but it takes longer than 4 years to go through all that schooling and to get a big budget sequel.
Exactly. So you had to do a little bit of TV commercials, maybe TV shows,
and then
this is after school.
And then are we to like Scream 3 is 4 years after the original? They say that Scream 2 was 2 years after the original. So the Scream 3 fucked up the timeline.
He had to be like, you know what? Fuck it. Maybe I'll just try to contact Sydney.
Yeah.
You could reach out to your sister. She would have been nice to you.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. Right. But like, you masterminded all this stuff over the few years, and like, you're like, how am I gonna finally reveal myself? It's like, I'm gonna direct Stab 3 and then get the movie shut down and hire all these actors and pay them.
But even then, going to there to get to that point, he had to have been somewhat successful. Like, man, you know what? I'm doing pretty good here. You know, it's probably not that big a deal.
Yeah.
You know what? I did my thing. I showed her.
Let me convince these two high school kids to kill all their classmates, date my sister, cheat on my sister, have a kid that all that shit's gonna come back around to in 20 years.
Yeah.
And then
somebody made a joke about it. It was using the Christoph Waltz. Like, it is me,
the author of all your pain. That was in the video.
Yeah. But man, that's terrible that we're breaking it down like this. It's really horrible.
Like, it's important to acknowledge it works. Like, in the moment, like when you're watching the movie, it all works. Even Scream 3, for the most part, I'm like, it works. Like, I'm entertained.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's fine. It hasn't like had a one sequel that's been like overwhelmingly shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't think it's no terrible movies in the series.
Yeah. Scream 3 is everyone's least favorite, but it's not
for sure.
Like, the Curse of Michael Myers of the franchise. Like,
I was gonna say.
Scream 3 kind of drops the ball a little bit.
Scream has never had that resurrection, Jason Goes to Hell, Dream Child,
it hasn't had
Seed of Chucky.
Like, X.
But I'll give it to him. Scream 3, I think, has one of the more creative scenes in the movie where they're at, I think, one of the actors' house, and utilizing technology is funny. I'm about to bring up the fax machine, but it was like 2000. I guess that works for back then. When they were all in the house and he was faxing them the script, and they're like, which version of the script? And then, I don't think gas would have filled the house that quick, but still, in the moment, it worked.
They would have smelled it for sure. If it was filling the house that quick, they
And when did Roman sneak into that house?
Here we go. He's tearing it apart.
But the other supposedly rewritten out killer was there.
Yeah, that's the one I wanted to ask y'all about. It's obvious.
That's it. And like, Roman dies, quote unquote. And it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. That's what makes the reveal like, huh? It's like, sure, okay, he could have faked this bet, but they don't really acknowledge it. They were like, wait, no, I found you dead an hour ago. Like, it's just like, oh, it's Roman. Like, I remember
and it weakens the reveal. Like, okay. And like I said in the thread, we were talking, the fact that he's through the whole movie, he has glasses on, eyeglasses.
Yeah.
And then he makes the reveal, like, who the hell fuck are you? Oh, you. But wait a minute, weren't you? Oh, I guess you weren't.
It was Clark Kent syndrome. Okay.
That's the thing. So this is obviously the Bash Scream 3 segment.
yeah, for sure. Here. Yeah, we're going to close the first hour just shitting on Scream 3.
He opens the trunk and he's in there. And she's like, is he dead? And she's like, oh, very. And then they run away. Like, wait, like, they don't ever see it. They don't acknowledge it because they're the only ones that saw him. So she runs in. She's like, it was Roman. It's like, we're having a scene. But you can't explain it to you now. Like, it's kind of a mess. But, like, I guess it works.
What I've always loved about Scream 3 since I was, like, 14 was the voice changer. But
oh, yeah, he got all his voices.
Yeah. since we're bashing, how do you get all the voices?
Yeah, I don't know. He's got all of our voices on here.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
They don't utilize it enough. Like, they make it a thing, but it really should be like a part of the plot. It's not really.
What was cool about the new one was they just clicked a button on the mask and he had the voice.
That was kind of badass. Like, he was in the hallway. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
Like, I don't know.
But speaking of the voice, now go ahead, Nick. What's up?
No, I was just saying, you said speaking of the voice.
Yeah.
We'll keep it on track.
But no, just I guess this is the first movie that actually gives credit to Roger L. Jackson.
No shit.
Yeah, I know this one.
Yeah, that's crazy. That dude, I'd be getting arrested making all types of
hell yeah.
That voice is just he doesn't really talk like that. It's a voice he made up.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
It was like work in this one because when he calls, he's just talking like normal. It doesn't even sound
actually
original.
This is my real speaking voice. I need to hear him really talk then.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of interviews. He's at like comic conventions and stuff like that.
The original Scream, when he's talking to Drew Barrymore, it still sounds like Ghostface talking. He's like, "Oh, is that the one where the guy had?"
Yeah.
This one, when he calls there, he kind of just sounds like a guy, and he kind of slowly goes into it.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
They're like, oh, is this Ghostface? Maybe this.
And they keep the tradition. Those calls are live. He's actually somewhere off the set, and they're on the line with each other.
That's fucking cool.
And what's her name from what's her name? Buffy. Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Her name's Buffy.
And she was telling a story because they were live on the line and they were cut and they would still be on the line, and she was making fun with him. She like, "Oh, so this is what you do, huh?" She like, "Oh, you just make money talking." We're like, "Where are you at?" And she said he was just still in character messing with her. Like, "I'm here somewhere." I wish that was on a blooper somewhere.
Yeah.
But that'd be hard. Michelle Gellar, I'd be like, I don't know, where are you? Where are you right now?
Super creeper. Hey, she was fine as fuck in that movie too. I wouldn't even hate it.
Yeah.
Like, Nick, you're fired. Oh, come on. Come on. But like, I don't know. We don't talk. I feel like as much as we are shitting on Scream 3, we've talked about it more than 4. So like,
yeah,
maybe that's true.
More than 4.
I mean, for the second half, I want to hit on the original 4 more.
Yeah.
And let me ask you one. It's related. So there's a show called The Powerpuff Girls.
It is.
And there's a character called Mojo Momo.
Mojo Jojo, get it right.
Mojo. Same voice as Ghostface.
You lying?
Nope.
It's true.
Roger Jackson does the voice.
You lying?
Mojo.
He kind of sound like the grandpa from Three Ninjas.
That's how you know you're a good voice actor.
You lying?
You think I'm lying? These are the two same person.
You lying like Simba.
Yeah, Mojo.
Mojo Jojo.
Yeah.
But
that's my random trivia.
Well, on that random trivia, we gonna save this first hour. All right. If the rest of this show is gonna focus on Scream '96, the original, 2, 3, and 4, let me just say, after talking a little bit of shit, I really enjoyed, and I've said it on Letterboxd, I've said it on YouTube, my YouTube. I really enjoy Scream 2022. The last 15 minutes are just not sitting well with me, and I'm gonna live with that until I see it again. But y'all want to start with the original? Just bounce around like we normally do? What?
No.
Talk about why Wes Craven is a legend.
Yeah.
The fucking man.
I mean, yeah. He's not I was thinking, like, a lot of these, like, legendary directors are, like, you can't really describe him as, like, a doesn't miss director. Like, you talk about, like, he's got some misses.
Yeah, he's missed.
He's got some gambles that didn't really pay off in terms of even some of his later stuff. Like, he did that movie, what was it? My Soul to Take.
Oh my!
I never saw that.
That was like in some type of what I would imagine a weird acid trip felt like.
Yeah, like I remember watching that and thinking like, shit, this isn't Craven's fallen off. But then Scream 4 came out and I was like, okay, that was...
He's back.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like they talk about like the master of horror or whatever. But it's like he didn't have one single like trope or whatever, like a distinguishing like thing about his movies. John Carpenter is kind of the same way. Like,
Happy birthday, John.
Movies are really the same.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes him good. Like, Wes Craven didn't just stick to slashers. He didn't just stick to like, he tried to do all kinds of shit. He did the like voodoo weird movie. Woo. And he did the like, the rapist in the woods movie. And he's like, and in this one, there's mutant people in the desert. And like all of his movies are kind of different. This one, the guy kills you in your dreams. Fuck it. That's why I feel like Scream just is so good. Like it wasn't just like, we want you to do the slasher movie. He's like, I'm gonna do the ultimate slasher movie. He's like, I'm gonna do like the Avengers of slasher movie. It's gonna be like the coolest thing that redefines the genre. And they're like, okay, whatever, Wes, we trust you.
Yeah.
And redefine that shit for a good 5, 6, 7 years.
Forever. I mean, like, it really, like, you can't do one now. Like, there really aren't that many. It's rare that you just get an old-fashioned slasher. Just, like, a normal, like, movie. Like, even, like, just thinking, like, that movie Hellfest that came out a couple years ago, it was fine. Like, it was pretty good. That's, like, the closest thing I can think of recently that, like, a mainstream movie that was just a slasher. Like, it was like, we're not trying to be Scream. We're not a sequel to something. It's not a reboot of any kind. It's just slasher.
Like, Happy Death Day and Freaky are probably...
Yeah, that's as soon as I said that, I was like, I'm sure there's more. Like, but even those are like, there's nothing old-fashioned about those at all. Those are very in the vein of Scream. Like,
it's
a lot of winking.
Guy in the Mask, the Groundhog Day element is what makes it stand apart. Ish.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are very much like not just good old fashioned slasher. Like that, you haven't gotten one since Scream, really. Yeah. Everything that came out, like Valentine, Urban Legend, House of Wax remakes, like all the remakes even were like
Scream babies.
Yeah, we gotta redo these for the Scream audience. Like for
Yeah.
And it had like a sound effect on.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. Even Halloween H2O has Scream influence.
H2O is a Scream, like it's Kevin Williamson. That's Scream. It is. It's great. It's why it's so good. That's what I said.
Scream never had a CGI mask though.
It's true.
Yeah, that's yeah, we're talking about Wes Craven. If you read anything about him, to a degree, he kind of, I don't want to say he got trapped, because like Nick said, he was experimental within the genre and the subgenres in horror. But he even tried to escape the genre, so to speak, with a movie that the studio totally effed him on, a movie called Deadly Friend. And they totally made him reshoot the movie, they made him change it into a horror movie. It was more of a coming of age movie, sci-fi coming of age movie. And there still is this supposedly a different version of this movie. It probably doesn't exist anymore.
Release the Craven cut.
Yeah, there you go. And it probably doesn't even exist, which is sad. And he went back to the independence and he did his own thing again. But we were bashing kind of hard on Scream 3. But you look at stuff glass half full, there's a pretty awesome thing that came out of Scream 3. Craven made a deal with the studio to do a non-horror movie. And he agreed to do Scream 3 if he could do a non-horror movie. And that movie is Music of the Heart.
I thought that's what she was going to bring up with the Deadly Friend.
Yeah. Gloria Stefan and Instinct did the song.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the... I did a triple, quadruple take when I saw the trailer back in the day, from Wes Craven.
Wes Craven.
I remember I've got that on. I have that, but I remember my mom had the VHS, and I remember sitting and watching. It was directed by Wes Craven. I was like 10, 11. I don't remember, but I remember.
It's not scary.
You knew even then, who Wes Craven was, what he was known for.
Yeah.
And that says a lot.
1,000 times. I'd seen that name.
Right. But I like moments like that in directors who are just synonymous with one genre. You mentioned John Carpenter, so I like moments like that because it shows as a filmmaker they can get, it's not the hardest thing in the world with Meryl Streep, but she was nominated for an Oscar in a film directed by Wes Craven, And John Carpenter, he got an Oscar nomination out of Jeff Bridges for a non-horror movie in Starman.
Pimp shit.
Yeah, and so the comedy genre and the horror genre is the most mistreated genres within the award community.
It's true. And
it's sad, and they always will be, but it's nice when you see these quote horror movie directors step out and get the accolades they deserve. But the shame is they have to step out.
We're looking at you, Jordan Peele.
Yeah, and the rare movies like that. And they mention those movies, and I want to ask y'all about that in the new Scream. And they refer to it as something I've never heard before, elevated horror.
Is that
that's real interesting?
Is that the snobby when she was mispronouncing Babadook?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Hereditary. I was like, this is pretty cute.
Yeah, but no, that's my thought on Wes. As far as that, and I'm a little older than y'all. I remember the slasher genre up until Scream, from coming out of the 80s, because Nightmare was on a downward spiral. Friday the 13th was on a downward spiral. Halloween 5 was 1989. The slasher genre was on a downslope, and the early
shout
90s.
Out to Chucky.
And
shout out to Don Mancini.
They tried to do, yeah.
No, they did.
They kept it. But even Chucky got silly, and
I'll fight for those first 3 Child's Play movies.
Yeah. And that was still very, very early 90s. Child's Play 3 was 91.
Child's Play 3 was 91, yeah.
Yeah. And even after that, I guess Wes Craven remarried himself with the genre because he had Vampire in Brooklyn was what it was. And
no, he did one before that. He did one before that, sir.
Yeah, what was it? I'm brave farting.
New Nightmare Fool?
Yeah. But you know what? What happened with New Nightmare though?
I love New Nightmare. That shit was like self-referential on this shit. That was like Scream audition.
But nobody went to go see it.
Hey, that's their fault.
It is.
That's their fault.
It was great.
That shit was money.
Yeah, and that's a precursor to the self-referential, the meta.
Yep.
That movie is still awesome.
Yeah.
But nobody went to go. But that's because of what was happening with the slasher movies.
Hey man, I'm like 8 years old, and I see Freddy in the clouds, like picking little homie up off the highway,
in the freeway.
And when he was like upside down in the hospital room, that shit was freaky. And little Easter egg that just popped in my head. The babysitter from New Nightmare was the mom in the first season of the Scream TV show.
No kidding.
Yup.
Look at you.
Fuck the Scream TV show.
Yeah, for sure.
But the Scream. I don't know. I'm getting too far away, shouting out West. But yeah, it's almost 10 years after Elm Street.
That was my segue to bring it back.
He's probably the only what we consider one of the masters of horror to have like 2 iconic slasher characters, or more than one. Like you said, Mancini. His whole career is Chucky.
Whole career, still going.
And nothing wrong with that.
Nah.
Especially that. One thing I can say, another thing I can say about Chucky, like all the movies, is like they did 1, 2, and 3, and then they took a while to do Bride. Something I will say of like the onslaught of slashers that came out after Scream, Bride of Chucky is not really trying to do Scream, in my opinion, or Scene. Bride of Chucky is very much its own little thing.
Yeah.
I will give it that. I will say that. Chucky has always been on his own little.
Yeah. But then Seed of Chucky.
Seed of Chucky is nothing like Scream.
Yeah. It's so trash. It's so trash. I hate Seed of Chucky. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's dumb, but I kind of like it. But Scream has never had that. Like, Scream 3 was in no way like, this is as bad as Seed of Chucky. Like, it never had that.
No.
Kind of, yeah, it never had a, oh, Jesus. Ghostface jizzed in a cup.
And speaking of which, they poke fun at that in a new Scream movie about how it went off the Stab movie went off the rails. You was watching the Scream Stab 8 on YouTube. They had a flamethrower.
I'm glad that they acknowledged all those sequels that Scream 4 just made up.
Yeah. Yeah, they did, yeah, because they go to Stab 8.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's making fun of everything, because you can't really make fun of Scream that way. Some of the things they were doing were like winking at Scream. Nobody cares about your. He's like, my mom's a character in one of these. She's like, nobody cares about the shitty sequels.
Right.
But, like, there haven't been 8 Screams. Scream hasn't really jumped the shark in that like weird way. But like, you know, like there's 8 Saws. There's like 20 Friday the 13th and how many Michaels and all this stuff. So I like that it was still like, it's for movie fans, because like a normie, I mean, you know, people aren't dumb. They might recognize like, oh yeah, that's funny. But like the movie fans, like when they're talking about this and this and this,
the movie,
like I understood everything they were saying. Like I was like, yes, this is clearly a reference to this.
Yeah.
Yes, it's clearly a reference to Saw.
Yeah.
Obviously a reference to the overabundance of horror films in the industry. But yeah.
Hey, and when Randy's niece was watching Stab, they really did get Joe Blow Nobody to play Randy, and that hurts.
I thought that too, because I was like, who is it? Oh, it's nobody.
He's a Joe Blow Nobody.
Cause that's what he said in Scream too.
Yeah.
I love when she pulled up the IMDb page.
Oh yeah, on the phone at the beginning. They listed
at the very beginning.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was dope.
I thought that was cool.
Heather Graham and Luke Wilson getting shout outs.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I don't know. Like it was.
She was cheating
simple.
though. Drew Barrymore never had the chance to look up her answers.
But that's the thing. Like obviously, because you watch it, you're immediately thinking like, dude, just Google it.
Right.
And that's what she did, because that's what we would do. I like that they adapted to the new thing.
Yeah.
It would have been better if Scream 4 didn't exist.
Yeah.
Because Scream 4 already did. Scream 4 is only 10 years old. 11 years, going on 11. It's still pretty modern. Like, when you do it, like, they aren't using flip phones or anything like that. It's pretty modern. Other than the dude, like, having the camera thing on his head. Like, that's pretty old. So,
yeah.
I like Scream 4 work, but it's like this would have hit harder if they hadn't acknowledged anything for 20 years. Like, if they'd been like, oh, we're 20 years separated from the last time this happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're just talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
You want to
right.
I want to, like, what do y'all want? Like, gush over the original, man.
Right.
It's like the best movie of all time.
Yeah, the original Scream. I'm saying the original 2 Screams are perfect. I love them both.
That's me right there. The original.
It's like Scream 1 to me is like definitively better than Scream 2.
Yeah.
But Scream 2 is great. But like to me, it's like Scream is like a 5, which it's not. But like I give it a 5. Like I'm like, dude, I wouldn't change anything about Scream.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I wouldn't change anything about it. Like, obviously, she shouldn't crawl in the fucking cat door. But I wouldn't change that or anything. Like, I love that scene so much. It's so funny. I just love it.
Yeah, but it's perfect because what Scary Movie makes fun of that with the girl trying to climb through.
You don't have any of that. Like, it's already been made fun of. Like, I wouldn't change it. But so, like, if Scream is a 5, like, to me, Scream 2 is like a 4. Like, it's not as good as Scream. But it's still great. Like, it's still made.
Randy and I, we feel totally different.
Yeah,
about
like man, like.
But y'all gotta realize to our audience, Nick is real tough for giving out those 5
stars.
So.
I'm a 5-star slut. I'll admit the shit. But to like Scream 4, like Scream 2, to me, Scream 2 is like a 4.85999. It's close, but the original is the movie.
I think it's a great sequel to the first one, but it's not. It doesn't outdo the first one in any way. Like to me, like the opening, it's probably the second best opening in the whole series. Like the movie theater and all that, I love it. It's not as good as the opening of the first one.
No.
The killer reveal, arguably the second or third best killer reveal of the whole series. Like, it's great. It works. Yeah. It's a good twist. Not as good as the first. Like, it's just...
Yeah, no. Because the first one, yes, and it can be, it would be impossible to...
About it. I'm like, even the whole whodunit thing...
Right.
It's just more tense than the first one. Like, the first one, it's just, who the fuck is doing this? The second one, it's like, it's somebody at this school. It's somebody she knows. Like, it's not going to be her boyfriend. Right. And by the time
I think it lends itself to the sequel, Scream 2, about how, because it knows that stuff. Like you was talking about Scream 4, they know they have to do certain things. Then they trip over themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Scream 2 handles himself well with that aspect, like the conversation about the sequels in the class. And then they...
By definition alone, they're inferior films.
But no, you're absolutely right. I remember, how old was I in 96?
20-something.
But yeah, it's Drew Barrymore. Even in 96, she was a huge star.
Yeah.
That's
and you're like, man. And...
It doesn't have that. Like, Jada Pinkett, what's his name, Omar Epps, like, they were famous.
Yeah.
Right, but they weren't.
So famous that I'm like, obviously they're in the opening scene, they're going to die. Like, it's just like, something's going to happen to them in this movie theater.
And yeah, like, in 97, they needed to kill, like, Jennifer Aniston or somebody to get as big a reaction as Drew Barrymore.
It's something else that I, have noticed over the years. I don't know. People don't really talk about it. Maybe they do, and I've just missed it. But, like, their involvement in the opening scene is, like, a clear acknowledgement that there were, like, only white people in the first movie.
Oh, yeah.
You look at the poster, it's just white people. The entire movie is just white people. Their scene opens up, and they're talking about it's about a bunch of dumbass white people doing a bunch of dumbass shit. And it's like...
Getting their white asses cut the fuck up.
Cut the fuck up. You will go see a movie called like all this stuff. Like, that's cool, like, for their opening scene. Right. But it feel like it's a completely different type. It was like they had to do a different opening scene, which is cool to me. Like, it's not the same thing as just like Drew Barrymore getting killed again. That's where I think 2, it doesn't try to outdo the first one, but it's like it kind of like reinvents the wheel. It's like, oh, you think you know.
And it's like what I said. And that's perfect, Nick, how you described that. And it knows that it can't. I mentioned that about the lack of minorities in Scream 1. Like, it's just, I guess no black people in Woodsboro. Okay. It sounds like that for real.
Like, none.
Not a one. I can't think of a single one in the movie.
But no, then, is what I said, talking about Scream 2. It doesn't necessarily improve upon it, but I think it amplifies everything. There's 2 different things. It does not necessarily better, but what it does in comparison, it amplifies it excellently. That probably doesn't make any sense, but
no.
He's a nod, doesn't it? Like I mentioned the scene about Randy.
Hey.
And why? I'm sorry, Randy. Our Randy. So Randy from Scream 2, the suspense that they build, they're wide open. They're out in the freaking college courtyard. And it's suspenseful. You know what I mean?
It's
and
good.
Creativity. The scene with the police car.
Yeah.
Man.
That's why they don't just, like, kill him.
Yeah, and it's just...
But it's a good scene.
Yo, is Anthony Anderson the first black character that we saw in Woodsboro in this franchise?
Yeah.
No.
As a deputy, is he?
Cameraman.
Yeah, but that's not Woodsboro.
Yeah, Dion Richmond and Dwayne Martin aren't in Woodsboro.
But he came with her though, didn't he? Did she not live in Woodsboro?
Who?
Because Dwayne, he gets there, and she like, who are you? Like, oh, they sent me over.
Oh yeah.
From
yeah.
So this
all right,
the news station sent him over, so he's not from Woodsboro.
And yo, like I want to say, like this is completely irrelevant. It has nothing to do with the movies. But how come in the first 3 posters, none of the characters look like they do in the movie?
I kind of like it in the first one. Like some about the first poster, I just really like. Like David Arquette looks completely different.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like Ski Ulrich has a mustache.
His hair's in his face. He's got no mustache. There's something about it though. I kind of like it. It's kind of like the old Star Wars poster where Luke is like super ripped.
yeah. So Drew Struzan style.
Yeah. The old like, look at me, I'm the Hulk. It's like, no, you're not. Something about it I kind of like, but they need to not do it anymore.
Yeah. Like I love that. I love 2 because it ties back to 1 being Billy's mom, and then
decent, like solid twist.
And then that's part of my problem with the reveal of the new one. We found each other on the internet, like Scream 2.
Yeah, it's like yeah. It's like
that's like you say, real struggling with those last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I wanted to be floored by like, who the fuck? Even when she like pulled the gun out and shot it was like, ooh, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Always knew who's the second one. Like I was waiting for the shoe to drop. I was like, who's the second one gonna be? It's.
I like the moment they threw in between that when the first killer was revealed, but then Sydney got the phone call. They're like, no, I'm the other one. That was
good.
Yeah.
She was like, bitch, I'm bored.
Yeah.
But Sydney was about it. Sydney was about it. She was low-key on some Linda Hamilton and Ellen Ripley in this movie.
Yeah.
She took the dude down in the basement, and he was like, no, there's always 2 killers. And she was like,
yeah, with the knife.
And it was like immediately after that, and like I like even when he did it, he was like, I know, it's a bummer, it's me. Like I loved that line.
Yeah, that was a slick little line from him. And his delivery.
It is kind of a bummer that she, because I was hoping I wanted the rug to be like ripped out from under me and me just be like, holy fuck, they did it.
Like if you've seen The Boys, you know that Jack Quaid is that good.
Like that might be my own fault though. Like I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know if I would have even liked it. Like I'm actually Stu's daughter and he's still alive and he's here. Like I would have been like,
yeah.
I'd have probably been like, but I don't know what I was expecting. So maybe I thought
it's viable with Billy. Like in the original, Billy was like a little scummy. So but it's like it's Bad Boys for life, man. Like when did he have a chance to cheat on Sydney? Because if a chick was pregnant with his kid, wouldn't they have said something?
I mean,
probably
I'd buy that.
I buy it.
He's kind of a little dickhead. Like
yeah.
I'd buy that. Do you remember he was flirting with the girls at the video store?
Yeah.
It's like, that's section. He's like sitting there like talking to like 2 girls.
That's I'm retconning the retcon. One of those video store chicks was the mom, and she was in London, and she had the baby after he died.
Yeah, like I'd buy that. Like I was like, I don't have to suspend my belief to believe that he was fucking some other girl.
In between the video store and when he got to the party, that's when he consummated.
Because he wasn't, and like, look, if you really want to get like technical, it's like he wasn't really interested in Sydney. It's not like he was really cheating on her in his head.
Yeah.
Only with her to like do this master plan. Like he didn't really care. He wasn't going to her window because he wanted to see her. He was going to her window to like check up on her. He was like taking.
Hey, he got that PG-13 though.
He did. Good for him. Like.
Now, one more thing. I just remember, Randy, you brought this up.
Hey.
you were talking about in the first movie, Drew Barrymore. So the first person technically killed in the Scream movie was a boyfriend.
Yeah.
True.
And
Stephen
so
Worth.
in the theatrical version, I'm afraid I forget his name. He's out. And then the light turned on.
Steve.
And then Steve. There we go. In the theatrical version, it's just him rolling his eyes back. But there's another version of the movie. There's a wide shot. You see his gut spilling.
I've only ever seen that part.
You've only ever seen that one.
I've only ever seen the guts.
I think what they've done, because in the theatrical cut, that definitely didn't happen. Even the earlier video cuts, because remember pay-per-view when movies come on.
That's how I saw Scream for the first time.
They put the director's cut on pay-per-view, and I don't know. I haven't seen the most recent. They probably now the definitive version of the movie is the director's cut. If I'm not, I don't know, because a lot of people talk about it. I always refer to it.
At least in my recent, I mean, like within the last like 20 years, that's the only version I've like. Because I know I saw Scream. I was young, like I was like 6 when Scream came out. I know I saw it on video, like with my sister or something, like when I was like 7.
Yeah.
I watched it enough to be like, whoa, this is wild, but I didn't really like suck it in until I was maybe 10. When I really watched it for the first, like, Scary Movie had come out, like, all this stuff. And so I really watched Scream for, like, you know, like, wow, okay, I'm following this, and this is happening, and I love everything about it. Like, when I was maybe, like, 10. Maybe 9, maybe 10. And that was the first, I remember, like, the guts. So I don't remember if I watched it on, like, TV.
Yeah.
Shortly after that, I'm sure that I got, like, the VHS tape.
I used to watch Guts on Nickelodeon with Mike O'Malley.
Yeah.
90s kids.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just a little observation, because part 2 I didn't mention this in my thing. Wes Craven purposely shot over the top violent scenes so those scenes could distract from the scenes he really wanted to be in the movie, and he was surprised that a lot of that stuff made it.
Yeah.
So the one thing that's probably not in the movie is Omar Epps getting stabbed 3 times in the head instead of once.
Oh.
And yeah, but he said he was surprised. A scene that was shot the way he shot it and appeared is how many times Ghostface stabbed Jada Pinkett. He thought that they wouldn't let him get away with that, and they did.
She's a girl.
Right.
Hey, we can't have the man get stabbed 3 times in the head.
Right. Like, wait a minute, wouldn't it be sexist if he didn't stab her a lot?
So, yeah, wouldn't it be kind of sexist if we didn't kill her?
But yeah, it's always little stories like that behind the scenes crap.
Wouldn't you be glad that he killed her?
So yeah, so I guess it's we'll never, when Scream 5 comes out, we'll never get a box set with all of these movies, right?
Yeah, like I pointed that shit out in my video too. Like seeing Paramount instead of Dimension at the beginning, it was weird.
Oh no, Paramount's re-released. They re-released 1, 2, and 3.
All right.
Not 4.
Yeah, 4 is what's doing it.
It's with the really ugly cover art.
Super ugly.
And they only put out the first one in 4K, and I'm like,
yeah. But
it's like you can't really do like 2, not do 3 and 4. Like nobody wants 3 and 4. Nobody cares.
Who's got the rights to 4?
It was Anchor Bay. It was like the Weinstein Company.
Trash.
When it came out.
Trash.
So like I don't know.
Like why wouldn't Paramount get the whole franchise?
I don't know how it works. Like my Blu-ray set of the first 3,
and they acknowledge 4.
Yeah, 4 it's canon. Like the kids say, it's canon. Right. I like that it wasn't one of those sequels that got rid of all the sequels. Yeah. You can't do that. You can't do that with Scream.
No.
I don't know. You can always.
But they did it.
There's no way. You can't. If Scream 6 comes out, you can't retcon everything.
Yeah, because then you're just like, it's my Laurie Strode argument again. It's like, oh, this happened to you once 25 years ago. Like, probably moved on, right? Like it has.
And I got a lot to say about that one. That's something they should have did.
Was I saying this in between recording? If they do Scream 6, how do you like eventually like let Sydney and Gale ride in the sunset? How do you make the new protagonist the central focus?
Right. I think it's only 2. There's no gray area with that. You either gotta let him go or kill him.
Yeah.
I don't want either of those things there.
No.
That's the problem.
I don't watch Sydney die. Fuck that. I watched Lori die that one time. It was stupid.
He said that one time, but then she's back.
Undid it. It was so dumb.
That's Back to the Future 2 whiteboard stuff. Okay, this timeline and this.
Yeah, every time they do that, they don't like it. They killed off Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street. They're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Bring her back. It's like, they're like, nah, we got to do something else. I want to bring her back. Fuck it.
Yeah, but.
Can't do that with Sydney. Also, it's something else. I keep thinking about it, and then we keep talking, and I, like, forget. Something else about the new one that I, like, made fun of in my head. So many people got stabbed. Like, they got violently hurt and were, like, fine. It's like the first girl got stabbed like 10 times. It's like, okay, I guess you could live. And she was like in the hospital or whatever. Football dude got stabbed a bunch of times. You didn't see him die. It's like, okay, fine. Right. I guess maybe. And then Sydney got stabbed like in the tummy. Like she got
stabbed twice.
Like, yeah.
And Gale got like shot. Main girl got stabbed like in the side. They were all fine at the end of the movie. Like, Sydney was sitting with Gale, like, on the ambulance, just, like, chilling. Like,
tell me this, Nick. Before I forget, Sam, or what's her name? Melissa or Barrera.
Yeah.
The boyfriend stabbed her during the reveal, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm blanking. When he stabbed her, did he twist the knife?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a whole thing. Like, he was like, fuck you. Like, it was basically the same thing as Kirby getting smartphone.
So, check this out.
Yeah.
Getting stabbed straight in. Survivability, maybe. When you twist, one thing as I take away from Face Off, that's true.
Yeah.
When you twist a knife, the wound is you do more damage, and the wound is almost impossible to close unless you get immediate medical attention. And it's just like, oh yeah.
The ambulances were not really immediate.
She was
Never
bled
mind.
out by the time they got there. With the twisting and. Because it's a Bowie knife, too, with the curved tip. And you're twisting that inside somebody's body.
Because her sister was in the ambulance. Her sister didn't get hurt in the house any more than she was already hurt.
Oh, yeah. Why was she the one in the bed?
She was in the ambulance. She was like...
On the stretcher.
I mean, she was in the stretcher from her previous wounds, from her previous injuries.
That's something that I really made fun of in my head. Because they were like, all bets are off, and then they stabbed Sydney.
And Gale been shot how many times throughout the series? Like, in the same spot?
At least 2 or 3. Yeah. She got shot in Scream 2.
Yeah, they're like the same side, right?
Yeah, I don't think she got shot in 3 or 4.
And speaking of shooting, oh my goodness. This movie would have ended a half dozen times if people know how to aim and shoot.
Yeah.
Like the girl coming out the house trying to pretend. Both of them got the guns. Gale and Sid. Point that shit, and then they got it down by their sides, and she get the one up on them and shoots Gale.
Keep going.
But yeah, but no, that's my little complaint.
That was because I thought of that. I was sometimes Sydney got stabbed in part 4, and it was like a big deal. It was like, oh shit, she stabbed. And like Sydney like died on the floor, and then she threw herself all around the house, and then Sydney went to the hospital. It was like, it's still touch and go, but we think she's gonna be okay. I was like, she got stabbed way harder in this. And I mean, like, ow, fuck. And then the next scene, it was like, let's set her on fire. And like, girl got stabbed in the side like a bunch of times. Like, oh my god. And then she was hopping all over him, stabbing him. I was like, no, wait a second. Like, at some point, I gotta be like, hold on. It's because it's not like when Billy and Stu were stabbing each other. Like, they were purposely missing vital parts. I mean, they were she got stabbed twice in the stomach. She got stabbed in 4 and then had babies. I don't know. I don't know if I buy this.
One of my favorite kills in the new one was the Kyle Gallner like quick poke in the neck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then he was done. But then Dylan Minnette got it so bad though.
It hurt. It was painful. But like they didn't live. Like, ow, fuck.
My jugular.
Like, right in the.
Right one realistic thing, at least in my experience, when Sheriff I forget her name. What's her name?
Judy.
Sheriff Judy. So she's driving back. Remember, all units converge on my house. She gets there, killed. A decent amount of time goes because the kid gets out the shower, fake out.
I told my wife this too.
Yeah, I was like, damn, they taking a sweet ass time to get there.
I told my wife that they're lingering and like teasing, building the tension for Dylan Minnette to get it. I just leaned over, like backup would have been here way long ago.
Yeah.
For the sheriff saying, "Come to my house."
Yeah,
like, and for it to be a small town, and like you said, Nick, the sheriff come to my house.
They should have been there before the sheriff got back.
Yeah.
I had my theories though about like what the opening would be, like what the movie would be, and one of them was like the trailer showed her like speeding through, and I was like, oh, maybe they like fucked with her brakes or something like that. Part of me thought maybe that would be the opening because she was like a returning character, and then another part of me thought maybe Dewey, like he was looking all old like in his house and like calling up, he's like been 3 attacks so far. Like I thought maybe that would be like the opening and he would die like first thing. I was wrong. I was wrong on both accounts.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But no, I like that they brought back Sheriff Judy. She had the lemon squares.
Yeah,
I felt kind of bad.
That quick cut of the lemon squares.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that the shooting the killer in the head thing was a Scream 3 nod too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Should we talk about 4 more before we wrap it up?
No.
Hey.
I like the twist in 4. I like because I genuinely didn't think it was Emma Roberts when I watched it the first time. I was like not even thinking about her, and maybe that was my mistake.
Emma Roberts, badass, taking out two deputies, man.
I mean, I don't know. I just liked it because I didn't think it was dude either because he was tied up in the chair. So I remember being like, whoa, when he stabbed her.
4 is good.
I was like, okay. But I genuinely was like not even thinking about Emma Roberts. So when she did it, I was like, it didn't matter if she was overacting, underacting, I don't care. I was like, wow, man. I loved when she was throwing herself around.
Yeah, that scene was like...
I loved when she was like, stabbed herself, like, ow, fuck! And then she like hit the thing, then jumped into the table. Like, I was like, this is great. I
remember seeing that in theaters. The reaction from the audience was just...
I was like, this is not where I thought this was going, and I like that.
Once the killer is revealed in all 5 of these movies, a little bit of overacting takes over.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Let's face it, your mom was no Sharon Stone.
Yeah. And like even Mickey, like I thought the first 4, like it all plays. This one, Jack Quaid is good, his partner is not.
Yeah.
Sorry, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like you talk shit and then it's like, I liked it though. Like, I want to.
But I guess that lends itself to the strength of the movie.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it like almost nonstop for like 2-3 days. I must have liked something about it. So, but it's just like, damn it! Like,
yeah.
I wanted the rug to be pulled out from under me.
And I'm telling you, like, fanboys meeting on the computer, staff superfans being the organizers of all of this.
It's cute. Like, it's a very relevant thing. Like, you know, it's obviously making fun of, like, Star Wars fans is what I think. Star Wars fans, DC fans, Marvel fans, like, those kind of people. But, like, it's cute. Like, it's a cute little reference to, like, now. But I'm like, are those people gonna murder people? I don't know. Are they going to go murder Jeff Johns for what he's doing with, the Justice League? Probably not.
And it's like, I've had this in the back of my head ever since we moved into this house.
Yeah.
You would have shown tendencies. Someone would have stepped in.
Yeah, the irony of one of the lines, like, how can true fans be toxic? As a true fan, is standing there.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's funny. Like, it's ironic. But it's also like, it's kind of like if they make more, it's like down the line, we'll be doing another episode talking about the series. Yeah. And I'll be like, yeah, that's the one where they talked about the killer was a toxic fan. That's the one where the killer was her niece cousin. So it'll be like another one. It'll eventually be like, that was Stab 8. That was where it was toxic fandom was the bad guy, the real enemy.
Yeah, and it's like the killers in 4 and this one just wanted like internet fame and shit.
Yeah. It's like, I guess I don't know. That's what pisses me off. It's like I still don't 100% know how I feel about it. I probably wouldn't have liked it if it was another one of Sydney's relatives. I wouldn't have liked that either. Right. I wouldn't have probably liked if it was Stu. I'd have been like, well, you have to explain how he lived for 25 more years.
That's why, like, what if it was the mom, not really in London, pissed that she fucked a serial killer? Could have been something.
But then they would have had to explain, like, that's the thing. So much of the new one was exposition heavy because they were trying to keep it under 2 hours, obviously. Like, Drew and Dewey's scene was all that because they only had the one scene. They were like, all right, you got 4 minutes to explain
why you're not together.
And that sucks. They would have had to have done that. Me, your mother, who's been in London but has actually been here, would have had to have done it like Scooby-Doo.
That's exactly how it would have been acted too.
Like, so it's like I keep coming back. Like, I don't know what I wanted.
Surprise, Sam. I wasn't really in London, you dumb bitch.
I pull it off. It's like, who? It's me. Who?
Yeah.
Mother.
I guess a character. Like, I low-key expected one of the killers to be somebody, like, from the past movie that we had never seen in this one.
It's me, your classmate. It's me, Joshua Jackson.
Just something deeper.
Joshua Jackson.
Just
me.
Like random, like you get the line from Aliens wrong. I was right.
Yeah. Just something deeper from fucking, I don't know.
Me, Kirby.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like
Kirby, but why? They would have had to say it. Had to do the same thing. It is I.
Supposedly, when he's watching Stab 8, like there's a little like click on it interview from like she's acknowledged.
I missed it, and I'm kind of mad. That's why when I was like, I'm going to see it again. It's like I missed that. I sort of missed the, how's Mark thing until I thought about it later, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Wasn't his name?
And apparently Tatum's ashes are in Dewey's house.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, had her name on it.
I saw the Randy shrine because you couldn't miss it, but I didn't see any ashes.
Yeah, it's also like...
The urn was right there. I saw that.
But like, no matter what you do, like, it would have had to have been, I don't know, I guess it was never going to be perfect. Like, you're never going to do the first one again.
I think that's the thing about this whole episode. Like, everybody watching, everybody listening is going to think we hated it. But I think we all three really liked it. We've just been hitting on the flaws a lot.
Yeah.
I gave it a 3.5.
So did I. I walked out. When I walked out, it was a 4, and the more I thought about the third act, I was like, no, this is a 3.5, and I like Scream 4 more.
I would say it overall was better than Scream 4. I don't think it quite stuck the landing. Like, Scream 4's ending to me was like, whoa. This ending didn't make me go, whoa. It was just kind of like, okay, all right. Like, I don't know, my expectations for the killer for this were just way higher.
Yeah,
Scream 4,
that's it. That's exactly it. This was a 4 to me.
I told y'all, I was betting it was going to be Sydney at one point.
That's crazy.
That would have been wild. Like, I kind of thought, like, they're going to do something crazy. It's got to be
That's how high my expectations were on the killer.
Yeah, I'm like, it's got to be something crazy. It's Scream 5. Everybody's pointing at everybody like the Spider-Man meme. It's something nuts. Right. And it just wasn't nuts. Like, it was like, oh, so it was him. Oh,
so outside of a reboot, they have to, I guess, play it safe to a degree because you don't want to write yourself into a corner. That's the thing about that.
It's like, do they not make another one until the next trend comes around?
Yeah, that's the thing. When this one is successful, it outgrossed its budget the opening weekend. And the thing is, how long do we wait? And legacy characters only 2 now, but
what do we do? Like, you can't just do another one. It's Scream.
Neither
it's not Halloween. We're doing another one.
And Sydney's not in Woodsboro. Gail Weathers is a legit like TV news anchor.
Yeah, TV. Yeah.
So it's like, how do you bring them back again?
And that's the thing. They would have to go. Don't bring them back. The killer will have to go after them, or it's a lot of ideas. But then again, you don't want to get too far out of.
And they keep bringing them back like, oh, they're the experts. They'll know what to do.
Yeah.
You don't ever know what to do.
Exactly.
You're horrible at this. Like, I'm not calling Sydney. Why the fuck would I want to be around her? Like, I'm not calling her.
If I'm Sam, what was the sister's name?
Who?
From the opening. Tara?
Tatum. Not Tatum.
Tara? If I'm Sam and Tara, I'm like, bro, they got shot and stabbed. They almost died. Like, I'm not asking them.
Like, she's like, look, lady.
Another question. I'm sorry,
a lot. And I'm like, and it's still happening. Like, you're really bad at this.
Well, yeah, that's true, isn't it? But Scream 4 was the first movie since the second one. Since the first one to go back to Woodsboro.
Yeah,
it's true.
And you would think, why would they celebrate?
Yeah,
Ghostface.
That's what. She walked in there, the shit's hanging, and she's like, stupid kids. I'd be like, no.
No, right? Yeah, it's a lot of stuff when you start to. But you would have to, for another movie. The killer would have to go to wherever the victims are. I mean, I don't think it could be in Woodsboro again.
No, there's no way.
It's gotta be like the murder capital, and
this is the least secure town. This town has the worst police force in existence.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool.
The one cop who was like, why aren't you at the hospital?
Yeah.
And he's like, I had to come here.
Yeah, he was like, oh, baby.
The dumbass cops that left the hospital.
Yeah.
You ever seen the movie Hot Rod?
Once.
And the dude he was the dude who was throwing the flyers and then just doing the dance. Like, I was like, where have I seen that cop dude?
Wow.
No, but
thought of him like they threw the flyer.
They had to leave. They had to leave the hospital to respond to people that are already dead instead of staying at the hospital to protect the victims that are still alive.
Yeah.
Holes. There's plot holes. Once you get too many plot holes, it's like, it's Scream. Like, Scream needs to be above plot holes. It just, I'm sorry. It's like
an idea, at this point, the fans are going to be throwing out ideas. I think you could do the Halloween.
Another one. Can't just do, you can do another Halloween. You can do another Chucky. It's just like, this time Chucky's fucking with these people. But it's like Halloween, it's like the new Halloweens work. I mean, you could argue whether they work or not, but they work on a level that they have a planned trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, they wanted to do 3 new movies. You can't just do another Scream.
Right.
It has to work and it's like
see what happens, Nick. You hit it right on the head about planned. Williamson had the Scream 3 idea while making part 2.
Yeah.
They didn't go with it. Look what happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know if these new writers and directors have an idea. I would imagine any creative filmmaker would have an idea, especially too. They got hired to write a Scream.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're thinking about, let's do another one.
Yeah. Right, yeah, that's the thing.
At what point we lost Dewey? He's gone. He's gonna be in the next one. So like, what do? Like, you've got these Sam and Tara. They're not gonna want to do it again. Like, if you call them up and say, it's happening again, they're like,
they wouldn't want to come back. Like I said, they would have to be stalked.
And like all those kids, like, what was it? You had the twins. The sister was real knowledgeable. She's a character I would like to see come back.
Yeah.
She wouldn't do it. She'd be like, no, fuck that. I got stabbed. We're good.
Yeah. But then again, would she not? She probably would want to do it because of she's a movie.
I don't know.
It's like I survived this. I can help everybody.
Yeah.
You can play it both ways.
That's her role. Like, she'd be like the new Randy.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
like,
hey,
you can't just bring back a bunch of people and not kill them.
Yeah.
You can bring back Patrick Dempsey. It's kind of weird.
But that's what I'm talking about. You can have the Stalker go after Sydney, and that's, Patrick Dempsey, who still would hopefully be a cop.
No.
There's a lot of places you could go, but then there's a lot of places you probably don't want to. I think they should just leave Woodsboro alone. That town should be...
I'm saying, like, we got these ideas, and we're like, maybe. Yeah.
Bring back Josh Pace. He was stabbed, making a movie called Stab. Bring back Josh Pace.
It's like we got all these. It's like nothing is working better than Cobra Kai right now. Like, Cobra Kai just writes every season.
That's crazy how that show could go 10 seasons.
But
just very slow. Fuck it. It's like you can't really do that with Screen because it's like.
We flirting with 2 hours though.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to. I know Sigmund is on a time.
No. It's a good topic.
It is a good topic. We could keep going, but it's also like a lot of editing.
Right.
So like,
no, I hope I have to edit it soon.
I'm gonna cap it off with ranking the franchise as it stands. Opening weekend, I've seen the new Scream once. I'm gonna go Scream '96, Scream 2, Scream 4, Scream 2022, Scream 3. What about Eric?
I mean, am I going out on a limb? Is that all of our ratings?
Nah.
I put 5 over 4.
Yeah.
5 over 4?
Yeah. Other than that,
as of now, mine is the same as Randy's.
Damn.
As of now.
I would say this is better overall than 4. Like, I was a little more into it. Maybe just because it's new.
Yeah, it's still fresh.
I was into it until the end.
Yeah. Saying that I think 4 had the ending a little better.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah. I had 5 over 4 until the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
2 movies, it might change. I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna do better on Letterboxd this year. I promise y'all. So.
Hey.
Oh man, but yeah, that's it so far as of this recording.
I've got the new one ranked 3rd out of 5, which I think is pretty good.
Sweet.
Everybody's got 3 last.
Yeah. Far and away. Cool.
Of course.
Next time we get together, 2 weeks from now. I don't know the topic. It'll be February. Maybe we'll be romantic. Probably not. But I'm gonna finish this up. It's Rec League Podcast. Yo, let me dust these fucking bars off and kick out of this dry spell. I see the envy in their eyes all spawn cause I rhyme well. Al Simmons making deals, them sleeping on me is my hell. How I talk it, how I walk it, but they thinking that I fail. They fucking tripping. Punchlines, punch them in the mouth, that's a split decision. Too much thinking, might fuck around and fuck up the mission. They shooting but they missing. I'm a shooing for this victory and I'm grinning. I get off knowing that my writtens was offensive. I got no need to be pretending. My whole style big, embedded with Chris Wallace. Y'all let y'all guard down and we coming for your wallets. Fire off the dome, but she working with them small tits. I come fire off the dome, I had to run y'all through the gauntlets. This shit is just too easy for me. Pay attention, bitches, believe me and see. Trying to get my pizza pie on and don't go easy on the cheese. Raised southeast of the Windy City, to me this spitting is a breeze. And chill until the next episode.